So we're live in the Woodshed studio in the backyard. It was BCPA studio, but now it's Woodshed studio. We got Andrew on the TV. We got Ethan sitting beside me on the couch, and myself, Cody, also on the couch. So we're just going to recap our 2022-2023 season because we all got something down. So we had a successful season. I know a lot of people judge success based on if you have the headgear and the inches and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, you go out in the woods, and if you're lucky enough, you get to take one of these animals that you're trying to harvest.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy. Not everyone gets one down every single year. So I think success, like I was trying to look at it as being successful. Now, it's hard because, like I said, like no one cares if you got a fucking doe down. Like no one cares, and it shouldn't matter, honestly, what others think. I truly think that, and I'm trying to more and more believe that, you know, like, but with social media and all that kind of stuff, it's, you know, you kind of care what everyone else thinks, you know, just based off that. So pretty much we'll just go around, tell the stories of the deer that we got, maybe the trials and tribulations we went through this year to get to that point where we were able to harvest that deer. And go from there, because I think, you know, there's a lot that we have to cover. Like this could be a long podcast, but I'm trying not to keep, because the Eagles are on tonight at 3. So, you know,
Birds.
Go Birds.
Birds
Fly,
by 6.
Eagles fly on the road to victory.
Yeah, I'm not part of this.
I still think they're going to lose. I don't know. I'm not trying to get my hopes up.
Ooh.
See,
Come on, Cody.
This is the thing. This is what I have faith in them, but yet I also listen. I have faith in them, but yet I also think that I don't want to get my hopes up, because I feel like if I get my hopes up, I'm going to be crushed even more. So if I keep my hopes down, I'll be even more happy in the end.
It's kind of like how I am every hunting season. My hopes are pretty much non-existent. So, and when it actually happens, it's
they're like down until they're up.
Yep. And bam, that was a great volleyball setup right there.
Spike.
Bump, set, spike. Ethan, let's start with you.
Okay.
Because I think, well, you were the first one to get one down this year.
No,
I got one first.
You were the first one.
I got one first a day before you. Yeah, by a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with you first.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Andrew, and then save the best for last.
Oh yes. Oh yes. No, archery season, nothing. Obviously, I didn't get anything. I mean, I sat out the last day of archery season. I had a little button buck walk past me at 10 yards. I could have smoked him. I could have used my doe tag for down home on him, but I was like, nah. I mean, he was about the same size as Remy.
Yeah.
That would have been my personal morals. No.
That would have been your small steer.
That would have been, yeah, no thanks on that one. But go up for rifle season. It's me, my dad, and Cody. Head up to the cabin and went out, sat. I found this spot during archery season up on top of the mountain. I was like, I'm going up here. I have to. Opening day, I got to go up here. There's sign everywhere. There's got to be something. Get up there. Actually set up the hang on, literally 1 or 2 feet off the ground. And that was it. Just so I can see up over the ridge a little bit and just not be on the ground. And it was perfect because it was the comfiest seat I've ever had on a hang on. It was the only time I used it this year too.
Oh, the $80 one.
Yeah.
We got, yeah.
So sat there all day. Saw one doe. Couldn't get a shot off at her at all. She was in thick stuff the whole time. Heard shots all around me. I didn't see a single hunter. Like, I was very surprised. I didn't see a single person. I heard shots. Didn't see a person at all. Nothing. Get back to the cabin at dark. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do Sunday? I'm like, I have to go home because I worked that Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I have to leave by lunch.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hunt around the cabin. And that's about it. I'm not really going to see anybody. I'm not going to have to worry about another hunter. or anything. I'll just walk around the property and be good. So I leave the cabin like as it's getting light, so that way I can see the whole time I'm walking.
Which is kind of like when you still hunt.
Yeah,
That's kind of what you have to do. Like, there's no point in waking up before dark and leaving. Like, there's no like get up when just you can first see and start walking out.
yeah. I mean, I still woke up early because Dad made breakfast, so
Right.
I had to
Yep.
get up. Had to get up early for breakfast. That's a must. But yeah, you guys left, and then I was like, yeah, I'll just walk out. So I left, walked out, and I walked to the top. We call it the picnic bench.
Mhm.
Walked up there, and I was like, you know what? The neighbor, he made basically a road that zigzags up on top of the mountain, and that eventually leads in the state forest. I was like, I'll walk up this road. As soon as I started, freaking deer snorted at me and took off down the mountain. I was like, are you kidding me? I was pissed. So I walked up to the first switchback, sat down. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit here. I'm going to wait. I'm only going to be here for a couple hours. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking down the mountain and I see this this is dark figure just standing there. It's probably about 75 yards down the mountain. And I was like, that doesn't, like, it confused me at first because I was like, that's either a stump or it is an animal. It was one of those, like, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it's like 8:30 in the morning.
Phantom of the Hunt moment.
The Phantom of the Hunt moment. So I pull up the gun to look at it through the scope, and it was a doe staring perfect broadside. And she was like dark chocolate. I don't know if she was wet. Because like
Was she in pines?
there might have been pines down there, but she was more in the open.
Mm-hmm.
But she looked so dark chocolate. But I don't know if her fur was wet and it got darker. I don't know. So like, I could have dropped her right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
But I hesitated because I was like, crap, what's behind her? Because I'm shooting down the mountain. I know there's cabins in the area, and I didn't want to shoot her if there was a cabin behind her.
Right. Yep.
So I stopped, looked around real quick, and I was like, okay, there's a cabin in this direction. There's a cabin in this direction. I said, what's behind her? The only thing behind her was like the road down.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's not a big deal, right?
Right.
We're fine. And there was enough blockage. I'm not shooting at the road. Just be clear for the listeners. I'm not shooting at the road. I just knew eventually that's what is down at the bottom of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I determined all that, she starts walking, and then I see baby behind her. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a mom and a little one. And I'm just watching them. I'm trying to get a shot off of mom. And I couldn't. Then she went through some thicks. I think they were pines because they got a little thicker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up backtracking and leaving. So I was like, oh, well, there goes that.
Yeah.
Like, it was that idea. And then I think around 9 o'clock, it started to rain.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at that point, I was just kind of like, I'm done. Like, I'm done. I'm walking back to the cabin. I said, I have to leave it by lunch anyway. I'm just going to go back, pack everything up, and leave. So I'm walking back, and I'm walking up through the quarry. And when you walk from the quarry, if you're walking back to the cabin, there's a hump in the middle. And it divides our property and someone else's property.
Yeah.
Nothing's posted or anything.
Which
like,
is what it's like up there.
Yeah, you can walk anywhere. Like, people don't care.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not a dick, people don't care.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
A delk.
Don't be a Richard.
Don't be a Richard.
Don't be a Richard. Yeah.
But at this point, it's not pouring, but it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm soaked at this point. And I'm walking. I ended up going to the neighbor's property. Well, walk through that side. I was like, I'll just walk this side. It's a little more open. If I do see something, I would have a better shot at it if it's moving, kind of. Because I figured at this point, opening weekend, if I see a deer, it's going to be running.
Yeah.
Because they're all freaked out right now. So I'm just walking back, and I'm not taking my time, or I'm not taking. I'm just going. And then I hear something, and I stop, and I turn around, and I look up on top of the hump, and there's 4 doe staring at me. And it was one of those like, oh shit moments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, there it is. Here's my chance. I got to do this. Throw the gun up. And I'm like, which one? They're all the same size. One of them is quartered to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that one. That's the one that's giving me the best shot right now. There's nothing behind it. And it's the only one I could shoot. So I'll pull up and I was like, all right, crap. It's quartering to me. I got to put the bullet at the right spot. So it's going to go through her shoulder. It's that's just how it's going to be. But I got to make sure I get heart, lungs in the process.
Right.
Pull the trigger. Safety's off. Hammer's back. Pull the trigger.
And I honestly forgot that you had a hammer on yours.
Yeah.
You had to pull back.
Lever action with the hammer. Love it.
Old
30-30.
Western.
30-30. Love it. Click. That's it. Round never went off. I was like, you could have heard my heart drop. It just sank.
And the thing that I was surprised about, like because I heard that from other people, it's not quiet.
Oh,
the
no.
click is not quiet.
Oh, it is.
It's like metal on metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's got to hit hard enough to
fire
around. So it's not like it's like doom.
Which that blows my mind because I never had it happen to me. Like, knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood quick. There you go.
There's wood behind me too. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah, you struggled with that.
But yeah, so that's because you're not the first person this year that I heard that from.
Yeah. So I was like, it was weird. Like internally, straight panic. Externally, calm as a cucumber. I don't understand. Like I knew what to do. Like I knew how to handle the situation. I've never had it happen to me in a hunting situation. I just knew how to handle it. So I held the gun there. Like I'm frozen, staring at this deer through the scope. Waited 5-10 seconds. Said, all right. And they didn't run. One of them ran like 4 steps.
Okay.
And stopped. The one I was aiming at, she never moved.
Okay.
I was lucky on that one.
Yeah.
Racked another round. Pulled her up. She's still quartering to me. Pulled the trigger. Boom. Gun went off. It's like, oh, thank God. Watched her. She ran, I don't know, 20, 25 yards. Dropped. And of course, she drops on top of the hump.
Yep.
It's not one of those things. It's like a side of a mountain. Like you can't.
Yep. A lot of rock.
A lot of rock. Yeah. The entire mountain up there is nothing but flagstone anyway.
Yep, that one.
So I was like, awesome. I just shot a deer. I'm freaking out. I'm fist pumping the air. Like I'm happy as shit. So I was like, all right, what's next? What do I got to do next? Got to walk back. I was like, well, I got to go get her. So what's the best way to do it? So I had to backtrack, walk to the end of it because there's a little trail you can get up on top of the hump. So I walked the whole way back and I found actually where the remaining 3 doe ran down and they just kept running back through state forest at that point. So I walk up and I'm walking through and I was like, all right, where is she? Where is she? She can't be that far. And then I found her laying there and I'm just like looking at her. I was like hesitated to walk up to her because like I want to make sure she's dead.
Yeah.
Because like every person like we talk to, or like I always hear they're like, oh, I gave it an hour. I gave it 2 hours. I'm like, bro, I gave this thing 10 minutes. And I knew it was dead. I knew it was dead.
I think it would change like in archery. Archery, I think, is like primarily when people do that. I mean, if you put a bad shot on during rifle, I mean, yeah. But like you were what? How many yards away from her? Like you would say maybe 50 to 70 yards, if that.
Yeah, it was about I say anywhere between a 50 to 70 yard uphill shot.
Yeah, so I mean,
through the front shoulder though.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I think if people say they I get it, like let them go for an hour or so, like, but why during rifle season? Like you shouldn't have to put a bad shot on. Like now mine, we'll get to mine then, but like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you have to let it go for like hours in rifle season.
Well, even archery season, I shot the 2 doe when during archery. I did well. The one I might have gave a little longer just because it was like basically out in front of the cabin. So like I went back in, just kind of put stuff away, got ready, and then I went out. But still, that was less than half an hour.
But do you think it's so with a bow? Yeah, I think it'd be a little different than with a crossbow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you could, with a bow, any little thing can throw that arrow off. Like, it could be, you could get a gust of wind coming through, and it could move that arrow just a little bit. You could flinch a little bit. Like with a crossbow, you put the sight on her,
Yeah.
and you pretty much squeeze, and it's, unless you have like PTSD, which I'm not making fun of PTSD. I'm just saying, like, if you have PTSD from shooting a rifle, then you'll have a big flinch with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I just never. I was like that. Maybe it's a little more. Maybe it's a. I don't want to say a cockiness thing, more of a confidence thing. Like I know I can do a good shot.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm like that thing's dead. Like
Brag
I know
about it. Brag about it.
I am. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna brag about it. But I was like, I know made a good shot. Like I know I make good shots. So I'm like, I know that thing's dead. Like I'm not worried about it. But I walked up. But the thing that freaked me out a little bit, I was like, I found no blood. I was like,
yeah.
And I walked back to where she stood, and I looked at whole area. And granted, it's raining, right?
Yes.
But the blood's not going to wash away in the 10 minutes it took me to get up there.
It was raining hard though.
It was a pain. I was soaked by the time I got back. I was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate this so much. But I was like, no blood. I said, what the hell? And I'm looking at this deer. And I'm looking. I was like, so I obviously went over and I got a stick and I poked her. So
how many times did you poke her? I'm gonna let's take a guess here, Andrew.
Go ahead.
Andrew, how many pokes do you think Ethan took to make sure the deer was dead?
It was probably like 1, 2, and then a third slow one.
I was gonna say 3 to 4.
It was 2 to 3 pokes and a smack. I always, like, if I get a stick, I'll poke it, and then I'll give it a smack in the ass or something.
You smacked it on the ass with a stick?
With a stick. Well, hell, if it's not dead,
kinky shit, dude.
I was just gonna say the same thing. You're a freak, Ethan.
Hey, I want to make sure the thing's dead. If it's gonna get up and run, it might not move if I poke it. If I smack it with a stick, it's gonna go.
So the 3 pokes were enough, and you were like, you know what? If this thing's playing dead, I'm gonna smack it on the ass.
Yeah, that usually works.
You know what would really get it up? If you poke its butthole.
True.
So that's just one poke right there.
One poke and still smack, or
no, just one poke. Because if a deer does not wake up on one poke to the booty hole, it's not waking up.
Maybe the deer's kinky too. It liked it. It's like, do it again. I'm gonna lay here longer.
God.
Oh, God. I feel like we need to put out a disclaimer, like BCPA does not endorse necrophilia involving bestiality.
Yeah, please don't do that. But anyways, so it was dead for sure. I was like, all right, cool, dead. Rolled it over. I'm looking. I was like, well, here's where I shot. I said, there's no exit. There's no exit. I couldn't find an exit wound at all. And then when I rolled it over, the front left leg just flopped. Like it was just destroyed. I was like, oh, well, it probably hit it just enough. And then when I ended up, gutting her and getting the heart at the top, the whole top of her heart was just obliterated.
Ooh.
So I was like,
good shot.
That's why she died quick.
Good shot.
Right there. Thank you. But I was like, all right, now I gotta get this thing back to the cabin. I mean, both her and I were just falling off the side of the mountain. We were just going down, and then eventually drug her back. And I got to the top that looks down at the cabin. I was like, it's raining. The weather's not the best. I know Cody's going to be out still. I said, Dad might have came back because, well, my dad, he doesn't care for this kind of weather,
right? The
hunting. And I look down, I see Dad's truck.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank God. So I get there, I pulled the doe down there's like a little trail with a wire across, so we don't get people coming over with like dirt bikes or 4-wheelers.
Side by sides, all that kind of stuff.
All that fun stuff. So I kind of pulled her down a little bit there, ran down to the cabin. I was like, I got one. I've never seen my dad move so fast. He's like, where is it? I said, I got a doe. I said, it's right up here. Got to finish dragging it. So he helped me drag it the rest of the way down to the cabin, hung her up. And then, well, the rest is history from there.
Yeah. So did you gut her in there, or did you wait to get back to the cabin and gut her?
I gutted her on top of the mountain.
Okay.
I left like the heart and the lungs. They just stayed in until I got back. But yet all the insides were gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Hung her up, pulled the heart and the lungs out, and then did, a little more cleaning up.
Yeah.
And then shoved her in the back of the Subaru.
That's epic.
Yeah.
So
She fit.
would be your fourth deer
Yeah.
in
Fourth
your
year,
hunting
third doe.
hunting
First,
history.
it was my first rifle doe ever.
Yeah. Okay.
First rifle doe ever.
She was a big one.
She was big.
She
I'm
was big.
still waiting. April 2nd
April 2nd. Okay.
is the due date for deer age, so I can figure out how old she was.
So how old do you think she was? Like if you could make a guess. Let's all take a guess here and see
Yes.
who's the closest and who.
What did I? Oh, what did? Because I asked my wife too, how old she thought she was. I think my wife said 3.5. Yeah, she said 3.5. I said no older than 4, but she's definitely over. I think between 3 and 4.
Okay.
I said
All right.
I don't think she's over 4 years old.
Okay. Andrew?
Honestly, I don't remember what my estimate was.
You said she looked like an elk.
She was big.
Yeah,
half elk.
she was big, but I don't
Yeah.
know what my estimate was.
I'm going to say
Definitely not 2 though.
yeah,
Like
no.
over 2.
Oh yeah.
But past that, I don't know. She was healthy, to say the least.
Yeah, she was fun to drag back.
I'm going to say that she's over 4. I'm
Think
going to
so?
say 5.5 to 6.
Ooh.
She was old. Like she looked old. She was big. Like she was hanging up. She was taller than you.
Yeah, we hung
That's
her up.
big.
I don't know, like everyone, like when they hang up deer, they look so nice, like with the hanging from their feet, and then meanwhile, me and my dad, we put like a freaking noose on this thing's neck and then just string it up.
Well, I thought the funny part is that you didn't use like a drag rope. You used your lineman's rope
I did.
to bring her back.
I used my
to the
lineman's
ca-
rope
to
on
the
that one.
cabin.
I slit the gap in between her back, her bone and her tendon, and stuck her hoof in between, and then put the lineman's rope on to help. And I did what Ryan Starnowski he did. He took his backpack and well, it was his bow at the time, but I took my rifle, my backpack, and I walked it 50 yards. Came back for the deer and just repeated that process the whole way back to the cabin.
And you didn't have to go. You had to go probably 100 yards at most from where you shot her down to your cabin, and I would say
quarter mile.
Quarter mile
from where I got her.
Yeah, so not even.
So I'd say quarter mile.
So it was 100 yards then. Yeah, because there's 4 football fields make up a mile.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. That works.
So yeah, and then majority of yours was downhill also. So like that, you got lucky with that.
Oh, yeah, I got lucky. I knock on wood. Where is it? I've gotten lucky with every deer I've ever shot.
You have
no deers ever ran more than 40 yards, and I've never like that doe. That was the longest I've ever had to drag a deer.
I can't wait because one of these days you've been progressively going deeper and deeper into the woods. One of these days, you're gonna get like a buck or a doe back deep in the woods, and you'll be like, now I gotta actually drag this thing. Now I don't know what to do.
Oh, well, I have a solution for that though.
Okay.
I have a deer cart. Nope, I might not have to do that. And it's because it was my grandfather's old deer cart. My aunt gave it to me. She goes, "You want it?" I was like, "Yeah, why not? It's fine, sure."
Yeah.
And then hopefully one day I'll get to. I didn't even use it. I would have been nice to have it, just to have it there.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, no. But I think places that I want to hunt, for next year, I definitely would need the cart.
Oh yeah.
If I get something back there.
Oh, for sure.
I'll definitely need a cart.
Yeah.
But so that was that. So the doe, I mean, I got her butchered up with the hat, which is, oh my gosh, a freaking process. Like I already talked to Andrew.
Processing.
It's a processing, that's for sure. Like I've already talked to Andrew. I said, if the next deer I get, I'm taking it to your parents' house.
Yeah, we're doing it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
It's so much more rewarding to do it yourself.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
So much more, and you actually know what you're getting back to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can kind of control, like, okay, did I take enough meat off? Did I keep all that kind of stuff? It's like if you feel comfortable with how much meat you got off, it's like, all right, I'll throw this out. Like it's not.
Yeah, because like I got 3 out of the 4 legs because the one obviously was unusable at that point.
Right.
But still, I mean, she was big enough doe that I still felt bad, obviously. Like, I'm not like, oh, it's okay. But like, I still felt bad that I didn't get to use all of the meat, but I still got 3 out of the 4 legs. Obviously, the backstrap, the freaking, and I
Yeah, she
filled up the
was.
cooler. Like,
Yeah,
took it down to the barn, hung it up in the barn. Your uncle helped me do that
yep.
because
And
it
you let
was
it hang for a day or two, right?
one day.
One day.
Because
Okay.
it came home Sunday. We threw it up, hung it up in the barn that Sunday night before I went to work. And then that's when I started to not feel real good. I was on antibiotics at the time and they were messing with my stomach.
Mhm.
I was out for the count and I
Yeah.
didn't actually start butchering it until Monday evening. So it was about 24
that's
hours.
right.
So it was
I
about
forgot.
24 hours I let it hang in the barn. It wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold.
Right.
Like it might have been like low 40s, might have been like the warmest it was during the day.
Yeah.
Like low 40s, which is that wasn't that good of a crank
I
though.
don't fucking care.
But yeah, got it all done myself. Threw it on the well, I threw it in the cooler.
Yep.
Obviously disposed of the carcass. Took the meat and left it in the little sunroom outside the kitchen.
Yep.
And actually left it in the sunroom in there because it's basically the same temperature as is outside all night.
Yep.
So I quote unquote aged it another night. And
Yep.
then the next day I cut everything. I got home from work and started cutting everything up and freezer sealing them. I didn't grind anything yet.
Yeah.
Not until I use it.
Yep. Did you cut it up into quarters or like how did you is just big chunks of meat?
Just random chunks of meat.
Okay.
I mean, like
All right.
obviously I kept the tenderloins separate. Like they have their own thing. That's an
Right.
obvious one. But like
Right.
the meat itself, I just took chunks of meat and threw them in the bags, freezer sealed them, and went from there.
Hey, I mean, that's first of all, congrats on the dough.
Thank you.
All right. I wasn't there to get back and congratulate you at the cabin because you left before I got back.
Mm-hmm.
But like then you do that to drag it out yourself, to butcher it yourself, to put the meat in the freezer yourself. Do you feel more proud of yourself than you would like say if you shot the deer and then you took it to a butcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, the fact that like I knew it was mine, like I know that's my deer,
Yep.
and like I'm just sitting. You usually saw me because I would just stop and look at this thing, at like mid cutting it, like taking the hide off and everything, and I was like, "You son of a bitch!" Like I'm trying to get the hide off, and I'm trying to pull it. I'm not trying to pull it too hard because the rope we have hanging it. And I was like, if I pull this too hard, the whole deer's just gonna fall.
That's
Don't want that.
my biggest advice is like I would just no matter what, just skin it as soon as possible. And just let it hang without that. Like Andrew, do you so it's in a barn, you know, there's cats, there's all this stuff running around in there.
Yeah.
So would you recommend like if he skun it when he got it first hung up, would you could you put a bag over it just to, like protect it from all these other things coming around, like wind and blowing stuff around?
I'm sure that'd help.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you have the money for it, if you have them laying around, like those big like coffin coolers are great.
Yes. Yep.
Like you can just either quarter your deer or like if it fits, just stick the whole thing in there.
Yep.
And you know, you can age it in there. I'm pretty sure that's what Ed did actually. Speakman.
Yeah, he
when
put it in the back
on
of his truck. Like he didn't even have a cooler or anything. He just had it in the back of his truck.
Yeah, but I'm pretty
cold
sure he he quartered it up and put it in a cooler and let age.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw him do that.
Just recently. Yeah, his one he had got this year.
Yeah.
And then the one previously, he literally just had it skun in the back of his truck and just kept rotating it.
Yeah.
While it was down.
I mean, that's a completely viable way to do it. It's just like it takes a little bit longer and more work. Or it doesn't take longer, it takes more work. Like you have to go rotate it so that all the sides are getting the same amount of air, and you got to make sure that it's cool enough in the cooler.
Yep.
Whereas like we have a massive fridge and all the shelving units are pulled out and we can just stick like 5 deer in there. It's not easy, but if you like we cut them straight down the vertebrae, which isn't recommended in some areas because of chronic wasting disease. But We do it regardless. We know exactly where we're hitting. We clean off the meat after we do that. Like we don't like the bone shavings all over.
Yeah.
And we like stack them inside to outside in the cooler or the fridge. And then we fit as many as we can in there legally.
Well, and the thing is, CWD, there's no study that shows it affects humans at all.
Yeah.
So like it's
Yeah.
if you want to cut it like that, there's no problem with it because and also it you know it's your own deer. Like if you know you're not a butcher shop, I'm sure butcher shops do that too, and they just don't say
Yeah.
anything.
That's like they have the electric tools and everything.
Yep.
Just this past year, my dad and I switched from using a handsaw to a sawzall.
Oh
which
yeah.
if you got one and you got a blade that's long enough, that's a hack.
Oh
that'll,
yeah.
Yep.
That'll
Literally,
take you
it's a
the
hack.
whole way. Yes. That'll take you the whole way through. It's a
The one
great
time
tool.
I had one of those the things you use to cut, like you can take in the woods, like the real tree saw or whatever that flips
Yep.
open.
Yep.
I was doing that the one time up at the cabin. We were butchering it, and we had a plug-in chainsaw. Like you'd plug it in. He was like,
Mhm.
my dad was like, you know what? Screw this. We're done with this. So he plugged in the chainsaw, like just chainsaws through the leg. I'm like, why
That
haven't I
works.
been doing that the whole time?
Yep.
Instead of just doing and you gotta stop and you gotta refine the notch again and try and get
Yep.
it going. And then you get tired again, and then it's
I mean, dude, like doing that the whole way down the vertebrae and
Yeah.
making sure that you're center line the whole time and not hitting the back straps at all.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's a bitch.
That's stressful.
Especially with the spine right there too. Like
Yeah.
you have different each vertebrae, like you said, like you kind of there's a gap between each vertebrae. Like there's some kind of I think muscle or fat between each vertebrae or something like
Yeah.
that. There's like a tendon, I think.
I mean, if you know the shape of vertebrae, they're like kind of like in a triangle
Yep.
form.
Yep.
And like it's a little bit narrower at the top.
Yeah.
So you gotta like make sure that it's straight at that point,
Yeah.
or else you're getting into the back strap, and that's just wasteful.
Oh yeah, you can't waste the back strap.
No,
No.
Not at all.
That's hateful. I mean,
That's a shame. Like that's shameful right there.
That's
Like,
that
it
is
should be-
shaming the game.
Yeah, you are.
That is
shaming at that
shaming the
moment.
game.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
So, Ethan, is there anything else like from this season? Obviously, we heard about your deer.
Right.
Anything else from this season that is worth sharing, or like a moment where you're like, "Oh man, this happened, and like this was pretty epic."
No, just that doe. That was. I mean, I'm
Like,
not gonna lie. I
okay.
didn't really have like a. Like that was just kind of like it was.
Yeah.
It was like the but I'll say though, like it was like the perfect moment, like rifle season, like the end of the year. Like personally, like I don't go out for late season.
Mhm.
Like I just don't.
Do you think that would ever change? Do you think you'd ever go out like try it? Like,
I'd try it. It depends on it depends on the weather.
the reason I bring that up is because you have off a whole week from work during late season.
Between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. So you have that whole week. You could be like, I'm going to go out.
I really could though.
Yeah. And like that would be the ideal time. Like if you got this was my thought on it too is like, you know, I love archery. Rifle's cool, but like if you got really good at late season, I think you could like become a really good killer. You know what I mean? Like a really good hunter. Like it's I don't know. Late season, it's fun, especially if, like with flintlock or, you know, it takes you back to the good old days. And like with late season, I like going to new places.
Yeah.
You know, because mostly late season you want to find the food. Oh, excuse me, on a like southeast facing slopes.
Mhm.
Because if it's cold, they're going to be on the south and southeast facing slopes, bedded down or whatever. If you find food on that side, it's going to be even better. So like, I don't know. I think late season. Obviously it's going to be hard because there's so much pressure during rifle.
Yeah.
You know, they've been running around all year, but like I feel like if you get on one in late season and with your work schedule having off a whole week, it'd be freaking awesome.
It might. It depends. Us again. It depends on how the regular season
Yep,
goes. I
yep,
might
100%.
test it. I mean, like I could have went out. I had a doe tag still for down here in 5B. I could have used
And a buck tag.
and a buck. Yeah, because I didn't get buck yet. So yeah,
Yeah.
I could have used that too. But no, I just never had a desire. Like I don't muzzleloader hunt at all. I don't have one anyway. I never really had a desire to do it. I could take the crossbow out.
Yeah.
But now I just stick with my archery and my rifle, and I'm happy with that. Really.
I mean, the
now.
only reason I obviously brought that up is because you had that whole week off.
Yeah,
I think that's the benefit of late season for you because you have that whole week.
I could just go.
Yeah.
I'll have to see. Well, I'll have to see if I have any tags filled by that point next year.
Yep.
And go for that. I'm not gonna lie, like I got my doe.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I'm good. Like personally, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm done. I got a deer. I'm happy as shit.
Yeah.
Because I think it was because it was later in the year.
Yep.
If I got it like first week or two of October, then obviously I'd be going back out to try to get another tag filled, whether doe, buck kind of deal. But rifle season, filled a doe tag.
Yep.
I knew I had Illinois coming up anyway.
Yep.
I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, because I mean, you have archery is very long, so you have to you go through all that. Well, it's long, but it goes so fucking fast.
Yeah,
it goes so fast, and it's like you have that whole time. You're kind of hoping to get one. So in rifle season, you don't have to put. You can kind of enjoy the camp feel, and you can enjoy that. You can drink at night. You can do that kind of stuff because you don't have to. You're not having as much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, save a doe tag for up there.
Right, exactly. And
I think you can drink at night regardless.
Well, you can, but in moderation now, because if you have no tags filled during arch season, and think of how much money we spend on archery tags. I mean, on tags in general.
Yeah.
You kind of you're like, okay, I need to at least bring something home. So your day at rifle season is you're trying to put as much boot leather on the ground to try and get something because they're going to be where they're not normally at. They're going to be, deeper in the woods or closer to parking areas and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So and there's going to be a lot more pressure moving around. And it's that's kind of how it went for me. It was there's so much pressure and I felt like I got so much deeper in the woods than anything.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. Andrew, let's hear the story on your buck now. Because you're the one out of the group that got a beautiful buck down. And so, I mean, it happened pretty early, but late in the season.
Late in the season, early in the day.
Yeah.
So first weekend, I went out with my buddy, Alec, who Andrew's brother.
Yep.
And we went out to my buddy Leo, who was on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We went up to his cabin,
got an amazing buck down too.
No, he shot a doe.
No, he got the archery buck that he got.
Alec?
Leo.
Oh, Leo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot a monster.
Yeah, he did.
He's got 2 monsters off of that property now.
Yep.
And that's why I wanted to go up there because that's where I turkey hunt.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many deer up there. So many.
Yeah.
And for the amount of time we spent in the woods, we really didn't see a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the same doe twice the first day. And I passed on it because I was like, I'm here to try and get him a deer.
Mm-hmm.
So passed on that. Second day that we went out, we hunted the morning, didn't see anything, went home to eat, came back out, walked in from a different way to see if we could move anything in our favor. We pushed 2 doe towards our tree, or not a tree stand. It was a ground blind in the middle of a field.
Mm-hmm.
And we pushed him kind of in that direction. But he didn't get a shot at him. He only saw tails.
Yeah.
So we got situated in our blind. We drove around, we sat there for a little bit, decided we are going to go back. We parked our car right before it was getting dark because we were going to take all the hunting stuff down. It was pouring all day.
Yeah.
And we took our guns with us, and there's the 2 deer on our way up, just sitting there. I was like, dude, take the shot. And he got one of them. So that was his deer. And then the next weekend,
is this only the second year he's been going out, or how many?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
So he's gotten 2 doe in
Yeah.
the past 2 years now, I believe.
And you kind of got him started into hunting, or like was he?
I facilitated his
Okay.
hunting desires.
Yeah.
So like got him places to hunt and just went from there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. He's got meat in the freezer now.
Yep.
He needs a buck though.
Yeah.
What he needs. But anyways, so second weekend I came back from school again, hunted, started pouring down rain. The one day that I got to hunt, I was like, geez, I didn't see anything. I was like, all right, whatever. And the last weekend of the season, I came home again. And I went out and I got like probably 4 hours of sleep the night before.
Yeah.
And I just got home at like 2 a.m.
Oh,
I I went out in the morning around 6 or 7 and got in my tree stand. I'm sitting there for an hour or so. My dad's going hunting with some buddies at a different property. I'm sitting in my normal spot. Like right in front of me, I see something shifting in the like brush right by a creek. And I saw brown. It was like a big target worth of brown.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever it is, asides a spike or an illegal buck, it's going down. Doe, no antlers or antlers, I don't care.
Yep.
It came out like maybe 30, 40 yards down to my left then. And I was working that creek bottom. I was like, how the hell you get there so quick? It was like he teleported. I'm like, okay. So he starts to like turn his body towards me. I see antlers on him at this point.
Yeah.
And he's working his way out and he gives me like broadside shot at maybe 60 yards, 50, 60 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I took it, I hit him, but he didn't really like react as if he was hit.
Yeah.
And he literally ran directly at my tree stand. He ran away like he didn't get hit at all. So I was like, shit. So I chambered another one and I put the put the crosshairs back on him again. He's standing straight at me, so head on. So I gave him a sternum shot, like from right below his trachea down through the bottom of his chest, and he dropped immediately.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I got up to him. I saw 3 antlers on one side, or 3 points on one side, not 3 antlers. That'd be kind of crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was close to having 3.
Yeah. I saw 3. I got up to him. I was like, shit, that's not 3, that's 5.
Yeah.
He had like the main beam going out towards the front had this little nub sticking off, so that was 2.
Yeah.
He had something that looked like the G2, and then the G3, if I'm not mistaken, that's the one right above his head.
Yep.
That one was forked. So there were 2 points there. So he had 5 points on one side.
Yeah.
And then another 3 on the other for a total of 8.
So he had a split G3.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy looking.
Yeah, I know. You brought him in the studio like the day after you got him. And that was like the thing that blew me away with that buck is like in the picture, like this is where pictures are receiving, you know, like we were all single at one point. You know, we all had Tinder or Bumble or whatever. Like pictures are very deceiving. And like, so that buck was very deceiving in pictures. It was like, I thought it was a lot wider, I think, than what it actually was.
Yeah. He was, no, so like his antlers weren't as big as his body was. Like,
Yeah.
I had to drag that thing uphill alone. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to start this journey until I go grab a wheelbarrow. And even then, he didn't fit in that thing. So,
well, how'd you get him in the wheelbarrow? Like,
so
tipping over.
I drug him from where he went down and I field dressed him to the creek bank. So that was like a 60-yard drag.
Okay.
And then the creek bank sat like 3-4 feet up from the creek bottom.
Okay.
So I put the wheelbarrow underneath on the creek bottom.
Yeah.
and just pulled him into the wheelbarrow
Yeah.
from 3 feet up. So it was
That's smart.
like, yeah, it worked. And then I was wheelbarrowing him up, and the hill was kind of slanted at one point, and
Yeah.
it got too top heavy and fell over. And I was like, shit, he's not going back in there. Like, he was
Oh,
way too
man.
big.
You know, that would have
So
been a great picture of you with a
With the
deer in a
wheelbarrow.
wheelbarrow pushing it through the woods.
Yes.
That would have been great.
I almost wish I had trail cams for that point.
Yes.
For that point exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got him up there. My dad, that was the day my dad had that 220-yard shot.
Oh yeah, with the crossbow, right?
Yeah, full tilt.
Full tilt.
Through a spear.
Full tilt. Oh man.
Yeah, but so we loaded him up and we took care of it like we normally do. Skinned him out, split him down the middle, stuck in the fridge. 2 weeks later, we butchered him. And another 3 weeks after that, we did our whole sausage day and ground up all of our meat. So,
How much meat did you get from him?
uh,
You guys got how many deer down this year? So it would have been your dad got one or two?
no, so my dad actually tagged out.
Did he? Oh,
And
did he get
on
that-
top of that, he accidentally hit a deer on the way home.
Oh shit.
So he got meat from that too.
Accidentally.
Accidentally, because he just put a new bumper and new tires and a lift on the truck.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
So,
So-
he hit the deer after he put all that stuff on, right?
Yeah.
jeez. It's like the deer know.
Your dad
That's-
needs a push bar.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
Cow catcher.
Yeah. Yes.
Or they're actually selling that truck.
Oh, really?
But, yeah.
After you put all
Anywho,
this stuff on, they're selling it?
yeah.
Oh my god.
They're deciding to go down to 2 cars instead of 3 at home because me and Emily are away. So I don't blame
Makes
them.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was that. We got all of our meat out in the freezer now. I
Yeah.
got tubes thawing for the game. Actually, we're making burgers today. I'm
There
making
you
deer
go.
burgers for
Ooh.
the Eagles game.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Nice.
yeah.
I wish I would have thawed some meat out so we could make something, but we're having Ethan got me on. His wife is making what is it, turkey?
Turkey Parmesan meatball subs in the crock pot.
That sounds really good.
So I got ground chicken out of the freezer, and we're gonna have Jess gonna make chicken meatballs subs. So
Chicken and turkey.
yeah,
I like
so
it.
it's gonna be like it's gonna be a mix of chicken cheesesteaks, which are a hit for me. I love chicken cheesesteaks.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you put so this is the thing. Okay, you can't obviously if you own chickens in the backyard, you can make this from your own. But like if you get frozen chicken, you put that, you grill it up a little bit, then you put Italian dressing on top of it. You cut it down, put Italian dressing on top, then a little mozzarella, if you want to say it the right way, and then you just put that on the sub. And boom.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a different little twist on a chicken cheesesteak because chicken cheesesteak, you have the sauce and all that kind of stuff, and the mozzarella and the peppers and all that kind of stuff. Like this here, it's just like my mom made it one time, and I was like, "Holy fuck, this is amazing!" Like I love it. Like
That
it's
might
great.
be the move.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, so that's what we're doing for the game today.
Nice.
I kind of wish the Eagles game was a late game though. Not gonna lie. I kinda
Yeah.
wish it was 6:00.
I'm surprised it's 3.
Yeah, because I don't think the fans are gonna be drunk enough at 3, like to really like give it
You're
to
not working hard enough.
to give it to Purdy.
Start earlier.
Yeah, start earlier. Start at 9. Last week they actually they start at 9:00 in the morning. They did because
don't doubt
there was a game going on. Like there was a college game going on, like a college basketball or hockey game going on.
Mhm.
They were able to get in there with passes. They bought tickets to get in to the parking area to start tailgating at 9:00 because the parking lot didn't open till like 1 or 12 or something like that. So they were able to get in even earlier, and they got so much more trashed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Leave it to an Eagles fan.
Yep, that's right.
They'll figure it out.
But that's not what we're talking about, even though has something to do with what we all like. So Oh my god, excuse me. Jeez.
Dude, you sound like you've been drinking since 9.
No, I actually just started. I just started.
You
I
sure?
I put Jim Beam honey in my coffee, my R Grounds.
Hey, your
There you go.
coffee.
My coffee.
Thank
Your
you.
coffee.
Coffee. No, but I put Jim Beam in this time instead of the pecan stuff. And actually, I didn't even taste the Jim Beam. So I think I just mixed it perfectly.
Sounds like it.
I just finished my Truly and now I'm on Bush. So
A little bit of everything going on
yeah, a
today.
little bit of everything.
I got water.
Yep, that's right. So Andrew, is there anything else? I know you didn't have a lot of time, obviously, because you're in school. Is there anything else that you did this season that really was just like Ethan, was epic, or what story you want to share with the listeners and with us?
Yeah, actually, I do have one. And it was
Okay.
kind of like the highlight of hunting this year.
Okay. It wasn't your dad at the 200 yards?
No. So it wasn't 2022, it was 2023 at this point.
Oh, okay.
So we always do our like Feast of the Beast where we have any wild game and we
Ooh.
do it with the Bearlets and the Rogers. I think
Why
you've
were we
met
not
them.
invited to this?
It's normally the same group of people come every year, but
Okay.
we can start doing our
Yes.
own. We
That
should.
needs to be, yeah. Feast of the Beast. I like that. Yeah.
We should start doing our own,
Yes.
or I'll talk about growing the event.
Yes.
We'll
Yeah.
figure something out. Anyways, so we always do like rabbit, squirrel, groundhog, mix of that kind of stuff. We do deer meat, and then as of recent, we started doing more exotic stuff. So like
Okay.
last year we had camel and kangaroo.
What?
Ooh.
In
What?
previous years, we've had alligator.
Now, alligator is good. I
It
will say
is.
that. Alligator is very good.
It is very good. I think
It's like chicken.
Yeah.
what else? Oh, we've had moose. My dad did a moose trip. We had that.
Yep.
That was pretty good. Frog legs one year.
Oh, frog
They
legs.
are good.
They are good.
They are good.
Especially when you do them yourself.
They
They're
are
really
good.
good.
Yep.
So that's kind of the premise. So this year we had a deficit of squirrels in the freezer.
Yeah.
So my dad and I were like, we gotta go out, we gotta go hunting. I'm talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, so like you're coming home and me and my dad have to go do this. You should come hunting with us.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do anything, you don't have to touch anything, just like come out in the woods and walk with us.
Yeah.
So me and my dad are out with Cheyenne and she's walking around in her like nice mud or nice rain boots that have like pink at the top and they're like black on the bottom, and she's wearing like a normal outfit with blaze orange on.
Yep.
And we're like walking through and she's like getting caught in the jaggers and I'm just kind of laughing because like I didn't get caught on anything. Just like walked straight through it. I'm
Yeah.
like, you just got to learn where to walk. Like it's hard to see them sometimes.
Yeah.
Anywho, I spot a squirrel. I'm like, Dad, like, come here. And he can't see where I'm pointing. So we switch guns. I have a 22. He has a 410.
Uh-huh.
I grab the 410, give him the 22. I see the one that I like spotted. I shot him, racked another one, saw another one like, oh, wow. Scoot up a tree.
There you go.
He scoot up the tree.
I don't know what you're going with that, but yeah.
I was scooting shot,
Oh, okay.
but he was scooting and I was shooting. So
There you go.
Well,
Shooting.
little mix up. So I pulled up, shot that second one, and then my dad spots another one long range. He goes and gets that one. So we have 3 down.
Yeah.
And then we got 2 more after that. And Cheyenne's just like, I didn't enjoy being in the woods, but I liked watching them fall from the tree after you shot them.
God.
It's like,
Oh man, be careful.
wow,
with that
was
with that one.
That was the funniest thing I'd ever heard anyone say about their hunt. Like, I liked watching them fall.
Out of a tree.
I like. Yeah, I'd be careful with her. She could be a serial killer.
Yeah. Red flag. Red flag.
Yellow. I'd say yellow.
Yellow. Where's the yellow,
Yellow,
flag?
just
right
Yellow
slow
flag.
there?
I think she'll be the one shooting him next time she goes out.
Oh
but
yeah, do you think so?
probably.
Yeah.
She's shot guns before. Like, she's not afraid to.
Yeah.
I just don't think she wants to put her nails inside of a dead animal, which
Well,
I'll take care of that.
Yeah,
That's
I
fun.
mean, I think that's how a lot of people who aren't full blown in hunting. I think like if Jess would go out and do that, I think she'd be the same way. She wouldn't want to gut the deer. She wouldn't want to do anything like that. Like she'd be happy with shooting one and then eating the meat and doing that stuff. But like, I don't think a lot of women, unless they're like hardcore into it, are down for that.
Yeah, unless they've done it their whole lives. Like,
Right.
My sister.
Yeah. Oh yes.
You've talked to her before. Like, you wouldn't.
We should get her on the podcast.
That's an option.
We should.
She's a little busy because she's going straight from bachelor's into master's,
like you,
or doctorate. I don't know. We'll work something out at some point
over the summer, maybe.
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll see. She fishes, she hunts.
Yep,
she does all that stuff. She's gone frog gigging with us before. But she's like, she gets up inside there and takes care of everything.
Yeah.
She helped with the roadkill.
Yeah.
That my dad had this past, I think it was November-ish.
All right.
About November. So she's not afraid to get her hands dirty, but
yeah,
most people who don't grow up around that, doing that kind of stuff, it makes sense. Like, you're used to seeing the live thing.
Yep.
And then what it turns into in the grocery store.
Yeah, especially if you're just kind of new, like Cheyenne is, like she didn't grow up around it. Like to just see it right away. I mean, it's good that she was out there and saw.
Oh yeah,
thing was like I liked watching her fall out of the tree. Like it's a little weird, but it is pretty cool to watch her fall out of the tree.
It's kind of funny. It's a little comical.
It is.
It's a dark comedy.
You know what's good about it though? Like, what's good about them falling out of a tree? Like, okay, so say you don't get the best shot on, they're falling from pretty high up. They're going to die when they fall.
Oh, they don't.
They don't die.
Oh, they do not.
I can, firsthand experience. Their squirrels are probably pound for pound the toughest damn animal.
Pound for pound. So they're like a pound.
They do weigh about a pound. They're the toughest damn animals in the freaking woods. I've shot. I usually take out I have a 20 gauge. I'll take the 20 gauge shotgun out.
Yeah.
I've shot them out of a tree. I thought I had a good shot at the thing, and it fall. I mean, I'm talking 50, 60 feet out of a tree, smacks the ground, and ain't dead fully.
I think animals in the woods are just built different.
Those things are tough.
They are just built different. They are just built to, survive almost anything. Because I mean, think back on the squirrel I shot 6 times in the tree.
That damn
that
squirrel
thing was hanging on for fucking life.
Yeah,
like it was blown to smithereens, and it was still hanging on.
Like, you just end up eating lead at the end of the day.
We didn't eat anything because it was gone.
We used
I shot it 6 times. Like, I was just gonna let it hang in the tree.
Use it as coyote bait at that point.
Yeah, but then it wasn't even bait. It was like frozen solid. It was like didn't have a smell to it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that was when it was -3 outside.
Oh, that was miserable.
That was terrible.
Oh, that was a miserable.
Terrible.
I mean, it was a fun weekend. The only thing we drank that weekend too was
beer and chocolate milk.
Not your father's Mountain Dew.
Yep.
And chocolate milk. Literally the only 2 things we drank all weekend.
Which not your father's Mountain Dew is, I would say, is underrated.
It's pretty good.
It's great. It's a great alcohol.
Yeah.
Great alcohol.
I would recommend.
Yeah.
And
so is there anything else
but
yeah, I forget. I don't think they have it anymore, honestly. I haven't seen it.
They have a couple because they have not your grandfather's root beer or something.
Yeah.
or
I don't think they have
something.
the Mountain Dew though.
We gotta find it now.
They gotta have Dr. Pepper. I think Dr. Pepper is like, I don't know if it's a Pepsi or Coke product, but I think Dr. Pepper should be its own thing.
I think it is.
It's a Pepsi product.
Is it Pepsi?
I think so.
I thought it was its own thing, Dr. Pepper.
But I think Dr. Pepper should be its own thing. I think there should be a Pepsi, a Coke, and a Dr. Pepper brand. I think that's what it should be.
Let's make it happen.
because Dr. Pepper it's like Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb.
It is Coca-Cola.
Huh.
Oh shit.
Well, there we go. I think Dr. Pepper should just separate itself and just be Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb. They just start their own company.
There you go.
Doctor or Mister. Then you have
Mr.
Mrs.
Doctor.
We need a Mrs.
Mrs. Pip.
Mrs. Pip.
Mrs. Pip. Anyway, Andrew, any more of that squirrel story? Nothing.
Nope, that's about it.
Okay,
They tasted great.
Cool. So in we got to figure out this. What was it? The beast.
Feast of the Beast.
Yeah, Feast of the Beast. We got to figure that out because that's got to be a thing.
Yeah,
it's got to be
absolutely.
a
It
thing.
has to be. That sounds awesome.
If we can't expand yours, we got to make our own and invite guests we've had on.
Yeah, that would be awesome too.
In our backyard, we grill up stuff, and we'd have like everyone brings their own table and chair, and we just like connect all the chairs and tables together in the backyard.
Yes,
family, all the families come, all that kind of stuff, and
I like
the only requirement is you have to bring something you
bring
harvested.
your own beer, bring your own drink,
bring some you harvested.
Yep, bring your own harvest, and we'll just grill it up.
I like that.
If you want to bring your own grill, if you have a little camp grill, you can bring it.
We might need a couple grills or even some crock pots. Have some crock pots. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, my dad got this. It's like this big. It's a cast iron charcoal grill. So like it's a base on the bottom and like this super heavy duty like cast iron plate with the grill like the sheet on top.
Yeah.
And we used it last night for dinner. He cooked some steaks on it. It was the best steak I've ever had.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So
I would say charcoal grills are much better than gas grills. Charcoal just tastes different. It just tastes better. Like obviously propane is quicker, all that kind of stuff. It's much quicker. But charcoal, dude, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with charcoal. Like it's going to take a little longer, but it's going to taste so much better. So much better. Like on my grill, like out back, I have the propane side, I have the charcoal side. I would rather put the charcoal on than the propane. But yeah, it just takes longer. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's really it.
Yeah.
But I think let's make that happen. Let's make our own Feast of the Beast. We can come up with our own name, all that kind of stuff. But let's just do guests and followers. We'll put the invite out, but we can't go over max like 20 people.
Yeah, you can't have like 100 people showing up to the house. Like, there's no room.
Yeah, there's no room. Parking is what I'm more worried about.
Yeah.
Now, we got probably talk to the neighbors and have them park on the street over there.
Yeah.
That could make that happen. But like that would be freaking sick.
That would be a lot of fun.
That would be sick. And then like everyone can bring their bows. We can have like shoot the bows out back, shoot the crossbows.
Yes.
All that kind of stuff. Like
you have people up on your roof trying to shoot.
Oh, hell yeah.
Or we could have it like on someone's property with a massive field, and we could do a whole event.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have traveling stoves, just bring those
out the farm.
100%.
In the field out there.
Just do it on
do
the farm.
some clay shooting or something like
We'll
that.
do a clay shoot.
Yeah.
Done.
Shoot bows.
Yeah.
100%. Let's do
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Raise some money for the podcast. Do some stuff.
Well, no, we'll do. So what we'll do, all right, a percentage will go. So 50-50. We'll do 50-50. We'll do a drawing. We'll get with our partners. We'll do a giveaway for that. We'll do a drawing. You put money in. You put like $5 in to enter the drawing. 50% goes to a fundraiser that we believe in, and then 50% goes to the podcast, and then boom,
give away some stuff. Some merch.
Yep, give away some stuff. I think we should do that.
That would be sick.
Maybe not next year, but we'll figure it out in a few. We'll figure it out. We'll make it. Maybe we can start small next year. Do it here in the backyard. Just pretty much do Feast of the Beast type thing, and then after that, we'll just
go from there.
I like that.
I think that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. We'll give all the credit to Joe Boucher.
Yes.
He'll ringlead the event if you want him to.
Yep. He can be the head honcho on that. Honcho.
All right.
Perfect.
I got it written down.
Cool.
That's gotta
Okay.
happen.
Yep. We'll figure that out. All right. So my season. So
Yeah.
I did a Rutcation episodes, so I don't have to go back that far to tell that story,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. Saw some good buck this year. You know, wishing I could have shot the one. The other one, it was just cool to see him in the woods. And then they have the Illinois trip, but you hear all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So rifle season, I went up to Ethan. Excuse me. I went up to Ethan's cabin with him and his dad. Opening, I got up there like at mid. When did I get up there? Like 9 o'clock on Friday.
It was a little later on
Yeah.
Friday, yeah.
But I got up there, unpacked everything. I kind of East scouted like I did prior year. I was like, okay, where do I want to go? So Ethan's cabin is only, as a crow flies, it's like 10 minutes from my cabin.
Yeah,
Like
not
if you
far
could
off.
drive, if you could drive straight through all the mountains to my cabin, would have been 10 minutes. But so there's a road with a bunch of clear cuts, and it go from where my cabin is to where this road is. It's a direct shot from mine. I'm not going to give the name out because there's still chance I still go up there
Oh yeah.
once in a while. So I'm like, okay, if I go in here, I can pretty much get maybe halfway between my cabin and this road and maybe be able to see the buck that I have on camera, see that all that kind of stuff. I didn't realize how far it actually was walking in. First, I didn't know there was a trail there. So I park on the side of the road where there's no one really parked. I cut in there. As I get in there, I actually jump a deer. It's dark, so I don't know what it is, obviously. I get up on top where I want to go. I get down over top. The sun starts coming up, and I can kind of see like, okay, I can see pretty far here. And it's very crunchy, very crunchy.
Yeah.
And because it rained, I think the day before, and it froze, and now it's extremely crunchy or something like that, or it's just dry because I think the drought.
Right. Yeah, it was crunchy walking in that first morning.
So I get up on top. I'm looking at this little bowl right here where I've never hunted this area before. Never in my life. Never even set foot in here. So I was pretty much just going off of what Onyx was showing me and what I e-scouted. So I get up on top there. I'm looking down this bowl, and I'm sitting there, and on my way in, like I had my light on, I could see like deer shit as I'm walking in. Like there's a lot of deer shit. I can see some trails, all that kind of stuff. So I start following them in. I sit down. I'm sitting there for like an hour or so, and I start hearing behind me, and I'm like, I can't see over this little knob because I dropped down over a little bit. I look up behind me. I can't see anything, so I stand up, and I'm still like, I can still hear it, but I'm like, where the fuck is this thing walking? Like, I don't know where it's walking at.
Yeah.
And then like I look to my right, and it's like really thick behind me. And I look over, and I can actually see the deer now walking. It looks like a little one. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to shoot that one.
Yeah.
But I still hear crunch behind me. I look up over the knob, and there's two guys coming walking up over top. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But like I think like right before 7 is when I heard my first shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was out like on a point. I'm like, okay, down in the valley, there's a river right there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not just going to sit here all day with rifle. I'm going to go walk a little bit. So I keep walking. I'm seeing a lot of good signs, seeing trails, all that kind of stuff. I found some really good rubs. Kept walking, and eventually I find a trail, like a man-made trail. Like I'm like, oh shit, I could have just walked this whole way instead of trying to finagle my way around everything. So I get on this trail. There's scrapes on it and everything like that, but then there's also human tracks.
Yeah.
So like people have been using it. So I walk it out. I find there was someone who camped out in this very knob. Like I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, this looks really clear out. Like someone was just here. And then I move a little bit to this log, and someone had a fire and was sleeping there. Oh shit. Okay. So I get up from there. I move. I see another guy, and I'm like, at this point, I'm like 3 miles in, like on this trail. And I get back to the trail. There's a pinch point that goes across to the other mountain. So I get on that pinch point. I walk across, and I cut down in because the trail's still going. Like they have markers there. Like they have like orange markers like by where this trail is.
Yeah.
So I follow that a little bit and I cut off to the right. I'm walking through there. I see some trails and I follow that. I'm like, there's not gonna be anyone out here. Like I'm 4 miles deep. No one's gonna be out here. I come across the knob and there's a guy sitting right there in like a man-made ground blind where like it's trees are falling, all that kind of stuff, and he's just sitting there. So I'm like, okay, shit. Well, so I go down around, I see like feeding sign. So like I see like this dirt just move to the side and they're feeding on these little roots in the ground. Not ferns, nothing like that. I don't even know what they are, but they're just digging on them. It's like brown grass. They're just digging up. So I follow that a little bit and I get to this one spot and I see 2 deer just staring at me. I'm like, oh shit. I just stand there. Like the little one's looking at me. And now I know that the bigger one wasn't a little one. And like for some reason in my mind, I was like, don't shoot. So I didn't shoot. Like I watched her take a shit, take a piss, and then eventually I just trotted off. And then I went down to the knob, found a bunch of like there's apple trees in the middle of the woods. There was apple trees, and I'm like, holy fuck, like this is a great spot. Like early archery season, this would be great.
That'd be fine.
Because there was scrapes everywhere on each tree.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. So that's marked on my Onyx. So I'm not gonna give you the location, Ethan.
That's fine.
Unless I don't go up there, then I'll give you the location.
That's understandable.
But so I'm like, okay, I started eating and the pro bars. So I got these pro bars off Amazon Marketplace that I thought were gonna be great. They're not that great because they make me sick apparently because there's just too much like protein and I don't even know. Like it's just like I don't like they're just not good. Put it that way. They make me more tired than anything. So I stopped eating them. I start heading back out and I'm going through like the bowl, like under so where I crossed the first time, the pinch point, I'm going in front of that kind of. And I'm going down. I see these foot tracks, these hoof marks in like the leaves. Like you can see where like they walked and everything like that. They're just walking. And I start following that. So pretty much I guess I could say you tracked the deer.
Tracking deer,
like stalking up on a deer. So I follow that down and there's shit right along where they're walking. And I come down to this bowl and then all of a sudden they stand up in front of me. The little one runs off and the mom just stands there. So I'm like, well, I'm headed back to the truck. I'm gonna shoot you. And this is like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like I'm 4 miles in. Like it's gonna take me a little bit to walk back out.
Yeah.
And I shoot her, she drops, and this is where like, I didn't really like it. Like I wasn't excited about it because I made a bad shot. I made a very bad shot. Like I don't know what happened. I pulled up and I just squeezed the trigger and I shot her on the back. Like I spined her.
You spined her.
Much. She dropped, but she was still moving. And I was like, oh fuck. So I put another shot on her and still another bad shot. I don't know what was going on. I just don't know. Like I felt extremely bad, but I fucking spined her again. I don't understand.
Shit.
Like it was a 25 to 30 yard shot. It was not far at all. Like I don't know if I was too close and that's why it was just too high or if I rushed a shot. But man, that's why I don't think I got as excited about it. Like I'm just like, man, I felt so fucking bad. Like I like to put good shots on deer. Like I don't want to put a bad shot on a deer and have it suffer. But man, that was bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I didn't really talk about it too much. I was like, it was very depressing to see that deer have to suffer in front of me and then have to even go up to it too and just to make sure it was dead to slit its throat. Like I was like that I felt terrible after that. But I was 4 miles in, so I wasn't going to drag this deer the whole way out. So I had my quartering bag with me, I had my bags with me to put the deer meat into. So I did the gutless method, which is very, very difficult for the first time ever doing it. So pretty much you just start from the back where the back straps are. You do one side, you peel the skin down, the fur down. You peel that over, and then you get the back straps out first, put that in a bag, and then you do the legs. So like you go from the legs, you cut around the hind quarter, the front legs, all that kind of stuff. You do that, you cut that off, and then I had my saw with me too, so I cut the hooves off, put that in a bag. So the back straps and the hindquarters were in one hindquarter was in one bag, and then another bag I put the front legs and a hindquarter. So I had 2 or 3 bags full of deer meat. The weird thing is, like, they say you can get the fish out, like the fish, what's the correct name terminology for them?
The tenderloins.
The loins, yeah. But I wasn't able to get them out, so I felt bad about that. I don't know how to get the loins out doing the gutless method, and I really feel like gutting. Yeah, they say there's a way, but I don't know how to get them out.
They're literally inside the gut cavity.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna have to open that up to get them out.
That's what I thought, and I was like, but I've seen people do it before, where it's like, or talk about it, where they can get them out without gutting it. And I'm like, how the hell do I do this? Yeah.
Unless they go through ribs, I don't really know. And then you have guts in the way regardless. So
yeah,
there's not really much you can do unless you take those out. You're not getting
one thing I don't like about the gutless method is when you're taking legs apart and everything like that. It may be because I made a bad shot and all that kind of stuff, like spined her, so she still had nerves going through her and stuff like that. But like as you're gutting her, or not gutting her, as you're taking the meat apart, you see like the legs, like you can see like the nerve endings still like pulsating kind of. I'm like, I kept looking at it and I was like, how the fuck are, like, there's no way you're alive right now. And that's kind
They're
of,
not. They're not.
Yeah.
It's just the way muscles function.
Yeah.
It's just things fluctuating inside the muscles, like ions like sodium and potassium. That does that. Calcium can do that. It's just molecules and atoms and stuff moving around.
But
it's not still alive, but it's just the nerves reacting and the
Freaks
muscles.
Yeah. Well, like it freaked me out. Like, so I was in the whole time, like, am I skinning this deer fucking alive right now? Like, that's it like it's weird to talk about, because like I normally would not talk about this to anyone, because it's like you make 2 bad shots, you're doing the gutless method, so like you're not taking the heart and everything out, so in your head it's like, oh my god, it's like, am I skinning this deer alive right now? Like it's a weird feeling, put it that way. But like, so I get her all put together inside my pack, like, and this is the one thing that I did that I kind of like, people will probably think I'm weird for doing it, but like I buried her. So like I put leaves over top of her, all that kind of stuff, and like I put actually a cross behind her. So it was like the first time I ever did that. But because I wanted to show her some respect because of what I did, put a bad shot on, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, I felt really bad after doing it. Like, I told my wife, like, after that, and she was like, I told her I got one. She was like, you don't sound excited. I'm like, and I explained to her, I'm like, yeah, I put a bad shot on. Like, I feel extremely bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm happy I got meat, but yet also the way it happened, like, I'd rather not have got meat at all with how it happened. Like, I'd rather have just been like, okay, I didn't get any meat this year.
Dude, someone's gonna find that cross in the middle of the woods and like think there's a dead human body laid,
yeah,
buried under the ground. Like, oh shit.
So to go with that, like, I had the 4.5, 5 mile walkout, whatever. But I'm glad there was a trail to walk out on the whole time.
Yeah.
But like this is back, I just got this year, from Cabela's. I think we'll do a product review on a lot of things we had this year, and we'll put that out there, just because we're average guys who are hunting with average shit. Like, I'm not trying to buy the most expensive stuff, but so I walked out with her, put in the back of the truck, got to the back of the truck, so I left her at like 12:30. I got back to my truck at like 4:30. So it was a long hike out, put it that way. Had to stop multiple times. Got back to my truck, put her in there, and finally sat down. I was like, oh my God, thank God. And Game Commissioner pulls up in front of me. So I'm like, okay. So right away, I just grabbed my license, that sign and everything like that. I'm like, here you go. Like, I got one in the back. First time I ever quarter went out to take it out. You got to have the head with you.
Yeah.
You got to have the head. Like, I should have known that, but yet also I'm thinking it's a doe, it's not a buck. So why would I take the head out with me?
Right.
But you need to have the head with you. I didn't get fined, nothing like that. They just said, hey, you got to have the head with you. Like, a lot of people here in PA don't even quarter up their deer to bring it out. So like, they were like, "We'd never run into this because no one quarters a deer up to bring it out."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I mean, I can show you the picture of my deer if you want, like all that, because it's got a picture of her. And I didn't take a picture with her because at the moment I felt bad, so I didn't get a picture with her. But yeah, so I mean, they were really cool. We were talking. They were like, they looked at my stuff I had because I had the saddle and I had the sticks in the back, and they were like, "Oh, is that did you take that in with you?" I was like, "No, I was purely just ground hunting." And they were like, "Not for when I was like about like 4 or 5 miles in." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that explains why you quartered her up."
Yeah.
But they were really cool and they were doing their job, like looking around, all that kind of stuff. Like it was cool to talk to them a little bit. The one guy, he was like older. He was like, "Oh, is that lone wolf gear?" I'm like, "No, fuck no. It's hawk. I'm not gonna buy fucking $400 worth of sticks to put in the back of my truck and not use them."
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a very eventful season. Then I come out for back home from Illinois and go back out with my dad for late season and go to a southeast facing slope, like I told Ethan earlier, and I get in the tree and I'm putting my second stick up, and this doe comes out right in front of me. I'm like, it's like 3:30, extremely foggy, and it just walks in front of me. I'm posed on the ground. I'm mid stick, and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I kind of want to get into late season hunting next year because I think it'll be more beneficial, and plus with a baby, I'll be able to get out more.
Yeah.
Late season. Yeah. But we'll be right back because I got to take a piss. Really bad. All right. Okay, we are back
In black.
in the saddle again.
Oh.
Or I mean, whichever way, doesn't matter. Still ACDC.
Back in black. All right.
So Ethan, you have
Things.
well, first, how about this? All right. So what is our goal?
Oh yes.
For 2023. So right now, I mean, 2023, 2024 season. What is our goal? What do we hope to do next season, this coming season?
Many things. So the one, obviously, I want to get a buck. It's been a couple years since I've gotten a buck, so obviously that's like the big one.
Yep.
Right. Don't care. Archery, rifle.
Yeah.
I don't care when it is.
Yeah.
I just want one. There's a spot that I found this past archery season up at the cabin that I want to do a lot more scouting around that whole area. So I plan on going up end of March, beginning of April.
Yep.
I'll be up there scouting.
All right.
Getting that ready. And then food plots around the cabin. I want to put a lot of work around the cabin, improving the land, not just for deer, but for grouse.
Yeah.
Rabbits, you name it. Turkey, bear, bring it all.
Yep.
I want it all. And I know we talked about it earlier in the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier in the week we talked about it, but I want to get up to hunt New York.
Yep.
I want to do it. I've looked it up, did a little research. Still more research need to be done, obviously, but it's doable, both time-wise and financially.
Yep.
It's definitely doable to hunt New York State.
Oh yeah.
So.
And you would take a buck or doe, New York. Doesn't matter which.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
Yep.
Just send it.
Yeah.
Send it.
Out of state hunt. I think that's what your mentality has to be going into it. You gotta have to be pretty much whatever comes in front of you because New York doesn't really have an alien restriction. So like it's like just go there and get that under your belt. And then eventually, after you get that a few times in the same state, then you can be like, okay, now I have a standard now.
Exactly. Oh, and I want to be, and this is like a personal because I hunt with a crossbow. If I do get a buck during archery season, I want to be in the top 20 on bolt. We had Mike's his name, Mike Bell from Bolt and Quarrel.
Uh-huh.
We had him on like, oh my gosh, 2-3 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's been a hot minute.
Yep.
So I was like, he doesn't have like a whole list. I couldn't find a full list, but I looked up some of the records. They keep the score of like the top 20, and this is just from around the country.
Yeah.
If crossbow kills. Number 19 over like all time for crossbow of typical is 134 3/8 inches. The buck caliber that we have up at the cabins I'm completely doable to get
So
in the top 20.
my question to you, because I just posted this yesterday.
Yes.
Why? Why inches? Why does it matter? Why is that something on your bucket list to do?
I think
Every inch matters, Cody.
we're guys. Every inch matters. No.
It's all about how you use it.
Exactly. And I will use all 138 some inches. But no. I think it's just a personal thing. Like when I go to New York, like a goal of mine, and this is a long-term goal, is to tie my dad and then obviously eventually pass him. But to tie my dad in every buck that he's gotten. He's gotten everything from a spike up to a 6-point, like in between. I go to New York, if a spike comes out, I'm shooting a spike. Like I don't give a shit. Like it's legal. I'm gonna do it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Down home, but like Pennsylvania.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just like, you know what? I want to try to do that. I don't
Yeah.
really care. Like if it's not the first legal buck that walks out in front of me, that it doesn't make that 120, 130, like another 41 and 5/8 inch 6-point walks in front of me, and that just happens to be the one that I can get, I'm still taking that shot.
Yeah.
I'm not, that's just more of a, you know what, I want to try to do it.
Yeah.
Not a like I need to do it.
Yeah.
I want to try to do it.
Okay.
It's one of those kind of goals.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the inches. I probably won't. If I do see a 130-inch deer in the freaking woods, I guarantee
you won't know it until you measure it.
Oh yeah, I won't know it. But like, if I see something of that caliber,
Right.
I probably wouldn't even be able to get a shot off because I'll be shaking.
Right.
Because I shook when I saw that buck in Illinois
Mhm.
at 150 yards.
Yeah.
And I was shaking.
Yeah.
Imagine 20 yards.
Yeah.
I'd shit a brick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think numbers need to go by the wayside. Honestly, I think Pope and Young, Boone and Crockett. I think Bolton Quarrel just need to take a shit, and they just don't need to be around anymore because I don't fucking care about them. I think it's all measured in how many. You know what we should do instead of measuring the fucking inches? Measure the beat per second.
Beat per second. How close can you get to a cardiac arrest?
Yeah, how close can you get to fucking cardiac arrest, bitch?
Jeez. I would probably be pretty damn close.
Your BP is all that matters to me.
BP, there you go.
Yeah, okay. Andrew, what about you, man?
So I actually got an offer from my dad to use his compound bow because he's kind of shifting into the crossbow area.
Well, he's getting up there in age.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna start shooting that a little bit more next year.
All right.
And we'll see what happens when archery comes around.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think it's even if you don't go out with it this year, I think just practicing with it, like being able to go out maybe once or twice when you're almost done with school anyway. So
so I mean, I'll be home more.
Yeah,
which means I'll be able to shoot more, which means I'll be able to go out at home and all that fun stuff. So
yeah, I think it'll just be it's just a stress reliever when you get to start shooting the bow.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd shoot guns more if it wasn't so damn expensive. But bow, you make a one-time investment and you're pretty much set. Like the only thing you really got upkeep are the arrows that go through deer. Yeah, because those are the ones that get all boogered up. But
exactly.
Take care of the rest of them, they'll be fine.
And that's another thing, like the whole arrow building thing. It's like, what if you build your own arrows? You know how much more work you got to put into actually trying to sight your bow in. Like, just buy ones at the store that are the right weight, the right length, and just make your arrows fly straight. Then, like, don't go out and spend all this money to build your own arrows. Like, that's one thing that the building your own arrows and measuring the inches. I don't know. I think the hunting community can do without that because there's too much of this going on where people are knocking heads about, oh, you got to have this type of arrow, you got to have this type of broadhead, and it's got to be measuring at least 120 inches, be talk worthy.
The hell does it matter what your arrow looks like if it's got a cutting edge on it? Like,
because you got to have arrows that look cool, Andrew. Come on.
Come on to the rest of the industry.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I think the industry needs to turn into more of a community again. Like I sound like one of those old heads when I say that.
God, you sound like
I
a
sound
miserable
like an
old man.
miserable
Right
old man. But like honestly, like
now. You're not even a dad officially yet.
no, I think I really do. I really do think that like if hunting became more of a community thing, like people weren't afraid to like go out hunting with each other, which I don't think people are afraid to go out hunting with each other. I just think they're afraid to share spots. Like, who cares? Honestly,
I don't care.
like that's the thing. It's like I don't know. It's becoming too much of an industry instead of a community. I'll put it that way. Too much of people want to go out there and make money off this instead of just enjoying it for what it is. I mean, just that's my thought.
I agree.
Clicky,
Yeah, it's clicky.
like high school
It's
clicks.
so clicky, dude. So clicky. Like if you're not in this group, you're not we
You're
could give two
nobody.
yeah, we could give two shits about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't care about you. But like so I mean, I think I'll talk about that off air of what certain clicks are certain clicks, but you know, yeah, we'll talk about that off air.
I'm the oddball. I'm the crossbow hunter.
No, I mean I'm not. No, I have nothing against crossbows.
Oh, I'm not talking you. I'm
No,
talking
no, oh.
overall.
No, there's it gets deeper than that, dude.
Oh, even deeper?
So much deeper than
Ooh,
that,
We're
man.
going deeper.
That could be we could do a Patreon one on that. Just that could be our Patreon one.
There you go.
The clicks of the hunting
Clicks
world.
of hunting world.
The clicks of hunting.
Ooh. Let's do it.
So clicky.
So clicky.
God.
Clickbaity.
Who do you know here?
Yeah.
No,
so my goal for 2023 is obviously I just want to make sure I get out there. Like I don't really think I have a goal per se.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I could say like, oh, I want to get a buck, I want to get a doe, I want to fill my tags. Like I just want to be able to get out there, like with a newborn daughter, all that kind of stuff. Like I just want to enjoy it. Like I think that's what I have to get back to, is just enjoying it again. Like
Take her with you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's. I don't think she'll be going out hunting with me.
No, but
But I
like
think-
take her in the woods with you.
Oh yeah. I've told Jess like that's what I'm going to be doing. Like I saw this video the other day. It was like he was out with his daughter shed hunting, and he was like the perfect tip to become a great shed hunter and find more sheds is to take your daughter out with you because they walk slow as fuck.
Yep.
You won't miss it.
And they pick up everything in the woods. Like he panned to her and like she was like picking up a stick and look at it, and then like just took her hand, like they were walking like really slow. I was like, yeah, that would probably slow me down because as hunters we walk through so quick. We do. We just want to get to our spot, and that's
Speak
it.
for yourself.
Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry, but like we walk so quick through the woods to get to our spot. Like the majority of us, we walk so quick to be able to get to the spot that we had planned to get to our tree stand to do all this. Like we probably miss a lot of things in the woods. I mean, Andrew's the exception. You know, he takes his time. Sometimes he crawls. But I mean, that's
Rarely.
rarely anymore. But yeah, I mean, I think we speed up the process a lot, and like sometimes we just have to slow down. Like we want that quick gratification or what? I can't even gratification. There we go. Gratification of just being able to get a deer down, and that's it, and then it's over after that. Slow down and enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think that's my goal for 2023 is to slow down and enjoy it. That's my goal.
There you go.
There. Now, Ethan, you have something that
I do.
You wanted to talk about, and I said, "Hey, let's stop talking about this because we got to say it for the podcast."
Dude, we always start talking about things off air, and then it's like, no.
Let's try and make this within like 15 minutes because Eagles start at 3.
No problem. So I was curious about this deer age. Obviously, I'm getting my doe age, and I'm waiting for that.
Yep.
And obviously, I follow them on Instagram, and I see everything that they post, and I see the ages coming through. Yeah. I was like, I'm seeing a lot of the same age. Yep. Felt like it, granted, throughout all the states. So I was like, I'm gonna look at Pennsylvania, and I want to see because they on their website they keep like the top 50.
Yeah.
Oldest, right, that they have. So I was like, I want to see if there's a trend. I want to see if I can come up with a theory or like just a prediction So I looked at 2019, 2020, 21, and then 22, this current year. Granted, there's still deer coming in.
Yep.
But like they have plenty to
Right.
get a sample.
Right.
Right. So I took up the top. First, I was going to do buck only.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't even the number wise between each year
Right.
of what they have. So I just said, screw it, the top 50 in general. 90% of them are bucks anyway.
Right.
Right. So that's the
majority of what people send in.
Yeah, there's a couple doe, but whatever. It's still a deer.
Yep.
And I just looked at Pennsylvania. In 2019, the average age was, and these numbers might surprise you. 2019, the average age in Pennsylvania was 7.1 years old. Yeah.
Just deer.
Deer.
Not just buck, not just doe, but just
deer in general, top 50. Now, these are the top 50.
Right.
So the top 50, quote unquote, oldest.
Okay.
The oldest was 13, and
Okay.
then the lowest on the list was 5.5.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have them all in between. 2020, the average age, 7.5 years old.
Okay.
Okay. 21, stayed the same.
7.5.
7.5 years old. And here's where get things interesting. So far in 22, now I'm thinking the majority of deer are probably processed. I'm thinking everything from October, even November. A lot of people probably want their deer fast, so
Right.
they didn't do the 90-day thing like I did.
Yeah.
5.5 years old in 22, average age. It dropped 2 years. So I was doing this with my niece last night, right? We were sitting on the couch going through all the numbers. And I was like, look at this. I got 7.1, 7.5, 7.5, 5.5. I said, what do you think next year's going to be? I was talking to her. She goes, well, the first 3 years were very like the same, essentially. And then it dropped 2 years. She goes, I think next year it's going to stay similar. She goes, but it's going to go up half a year. So my niece says the average age for the 23 is going to be 6 years old, just based off of these 4 years that I did with these numbers. What I'm still very impressed, like the average age is 7.5
What was
years.
the oldest age for 2022 so far?
2022, the oldest is 12.5.
In 2019, it was 13.5.
Was 13.
13.
2020, the oldest was 12, and 21, the oldest, actually 2 of them were 11.5.
Okay.
But so far though, the youngest in 19, there's multiple, but 5.5. 2020 was 5.5. 21, 5.5. But so far, there's in 22, there's 9 of them. 3.5 is the youngest out of, and again, this is the top 50.
Okay.
That's all they keep track of.
All right.
So I was like, I'm like, there's got to be something I can think of, like a theory, a trend. You're like, is there a cycle that we go through, like even the deer go through, like, oh, there's going to be a lot of young deer taken this year. There's a lot of old deer taken this year just off of these numbers.
So I'm gonna put this out there.
Do it.
Everyone wants the mature deer.
Right.
Right. So my question is, do you think people are going to harvest so many mature deer that eventually the age is going to be decreasing? Like you see, like the first 3 years, it was 7.5.
Right.
And then you see it drop 2 years. So do you think the age of deer are going to be going down because people are getting the most mature deer they possibly could? Or do you think that maybe, people are after the mature deer until rifle season, and then they're just like, fuck it.
They don't care.
We're just going to shoot whatever we can because we couldn't fill that mature deer in our season. Like, do you think people are leaning more towards the whole, whatever makes me happy type mentality, or do you think more mature deer?
And you have to look at it this way. Is it public land, private land?
Right.
Right.
I
There's
wish they had that there too.
That would be nice. Well, they do. I don't know if they give you that option on the website when you get your kits and everything. Like, oh, is this public or private? Whatever you can put all this information in. But it's like for yourself, really.
Right.
Yeah, if there was a way to determine, like, out of all these deer, like what was a private land deer, what was a public land, that kind of deal. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. For some reason, like my mind is just so stumped. Like I can't come up with something.
Yeah.
Like it's there, but I just can't think of what
I
it is.
so I'll put my 2 cents out there, and then you guys can kind of think about it and what you think. But like, I think people are going after so much mature of a very mature deer, trying to get that mature deer, and I think that they're just eventually the age is going to go down because like once you get this mature deer, it's going to take a while for another deer to get up to that age anyway. So like you're taking the oldest one out, and then the next year you're going to take the oldest one out from that year. So like if you get a 7.5 or a 13-year-old deer, the next oldest one might be 11. Then you shoot that one. Like first of all, it's hard to judge a deer by its age in the woods.
It really is.
Very hard. Like there's been like people say, "Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this." Like that just might mean different things everywhere you go. So like a squared off ass could be different in farm country compared to mountain country.
Mm-hmm.
It could be completely different everywhere you go. So like I think people trying to judge the age of deer just by looking at them it's not scientific. It's not proven that that's anything. So like I just think that people are judging it off that, shooting that, and it's not actually what they predicted it to be. And you're trying to shoot the oldest deer, and eventually the oldest deer is all over is going to be 3.5 years old if you get rid of all the oldest deer.
Yeah,
I mean it's good to go do that. Like if you want to, but it's not always plausible.
yeah. Because I made the comment earlier, maybe a week or two ago. This is probably off air or something, but I was like, I remember looking on their Instagram. I was like, there's a lot of 4.5-year-old deer being harvested.
Mm-hmm.
Like and this has not just been like just across the board, right? I
Right.
keep seeing 4.5 seems. So in Pennsylvania, let's say like 2019, out of those 50 that I sampled, 33 of them were 6.5.
Okay.
Okay. In 2020, 22 of them were 6.5. That's the majority out of the 50.
Yeah.
And then 21, 22 again were 6.5.
Yeah.
In 22 so far, 14 or 5.5, 13, 4.5. And those are the two biggest numbers.
Yeah, I think the numbers, because people are showing, because deer only lives a certain age. All right. There's lots of things that could happen that could cause a deer to die. Car accidents, not enough food, dehydration. There's a lot of things like CWD, EHD, all this kind of stuff, blue tongue. Like there's a lot of things that can cause a deer to just die.
Right.
So like eventually, if you're harvesting the oldest deer, like I said, will be 4.5 or 5.5 or something like that. If you're going after a 7.5-year-old deer, like it's not going to be there eventually. Like it's going to be like you're going to be the oldest deer you're going to get is 5.5. That's going to keep going down if you keep shooting 5.5-year-old deer. So I mean, I think because we look back at when our dads started hunting, like it wasn't that way. Like they shot whatever was there, which led to younger deer being shot.
Right. I think it'll if we get more people to use deer age and aging their deer, at least just strictly speaking, Pennsylvania.
Also, deer age, use code Backcountry PA, all capitals, BACK Country PA.
10% off.
10% off. First order.
And then you get your own profile made. It's actually pretty cool. I like it. I use it.
Nifty.
It's nifty. But I think it'll eventually I want to feel like it's going to plateau.
Okay.
For like an extended period of time. And then like every once in a while, like 1 year, the average is just going to like seem like it skyrockets. And then it'll level back down, and then it'll like plummet.
Yeah.
And then it'll level back up. But I think with the mindset that that hunters have now, with wanting to get a mature deer, I think it's going to plateau between the 5 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
In Pennsylvania, I think it will.
Yeah.
And then, but it'll plateau for like, I'm talking 5 years.
Yeah.
And then it'll get a spike. It'll jump back up to 7.5, and then it'll drop to like 3.5.
Yeah.
And then plateau back out to
Mhm.
5.5.
Yep.
I think that's going to be
Okay.
how that goes.
Andrew, what do you think here? Because I have some more to add, but I think I want to get your opinion first before I have more to add.
I honestly don't know. I feel like it's so random. Like
Mhm.
if you're up north, like where you guys hunt,
Yeah.
I feel
Mhm.
like if you get to a certain point in the season, if it's legal, you're taking it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, people's goal is to shoot the older deer, but I don't think that actually happens enough for there to be that much of shift in the average age range.
Yeah. So do you so 20 what was it? What were the years? 2019, 2020, and 2021?
And then 2022.
So do you think that because COVID was 2020 and 2021, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
approximately.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's when we saw a big skyrocket in the numbers of hunters,
Right.
license sales, all that kind of stuff. So do you think that had an effect on it? Because you had people going out there hunting deer more because they might have had private land where like, okay, I'm going to hunt my land now. Maybe that's why they're getting the older deer, all that kind of stuff. And that's why you saw the skyrocket in the age. And then come 2022, people had to actually go back to work, had to actually, do things again.
Yeah.
And they didn't have time to go out, didn't want to make time to go out and to actually hunt and put the time into hunt and to harvest a more mature deer because they couldn't put the amount of time in that they could when COVID was here.
Right.
Figure everyone was working home. They could just go out whenever, you know, and then come 2022, you're back to work, you're back to the office. You can't take as much time. You can't put the time in you need to get a mature deer, and you're just shooting one because you want the meat. So you think it kind of went back because of that?
Possibly. Well, I don't know, because you can almost look at it like, all right, more people are hunting, more deer getting shot. So they're just at this point, they're like, oh, I'm out. I might as well
Yeah.
just kill this deer. They just go out and shoot. So you would think the age would actually drop
You would
because
think, yes.
more deer are just being killed now because there's a lot more hunters in the woods. But maybe, like you said, people had more time. They could actually, like, oh, I can actually let this one pass
Right.
and
Yep.
go for a more mature or just in their eyes, I might just think like I'm going for just a bigger deer,
Bigger
which
deer. Yep.
happens to be a older deer.
Right. Yeah.
That's definitely a possibility for sure.
I think that's more the possibility than the fact that what I said earlier about how the age of deer is going down. I think that's more a possibility because people have less time to put in the woods to actually get out there and
So not being as
be
picky.
more picky.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I could if I really want. Like they have the Hoy back to 2004.
Yeah.
Granted, 2004 they only had one entry, so I wasn't going to do anything on that one.
I would
But like,
say go back to like,
because I could eat, like
I
I
don't
have
know.
no problem. I'll go back and do more. Like,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to. I'll probably I'll wait till later in
Yeah.
the year. I'll revisit 22
Yep.
because that way most
The
of the
end of the
entries are in
yeah.
because I know obviously they're still coming in. And even like when mine comes in, depending on how
Yep.
old it is, that'll affect the average.
Yeah, I think do that and then
But I
go back
definitely
maybe 5 years.
and
I would
see
do
what
that.
more numbers. And
Yeah.
obviously I want to keep up with it because I want to see what like the future holds too.
Mhm.
Kind of see like, you know what? Let's see if our predictions and see if I can actually find a trend.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think I want to hear what everyone else has to say too. So if you listen to this and you have an opinion on why you think the age is going up and down, or if you agree with one of us, like let us know. Like it's just a conversation. It's not like we're debating it or we think
Yeah.
that. I just think there's also less hunters in the woods too. There could be less hunters in the woods that are causing less deer to be shot, less deer to be harvested, period.
Yeah. I saw one hunter
Yeah.
during rifle season. I heard him,
Yeah.
but I definitely didn't hear as many shots as I have 10 years ago.
Yep. Yeah.
I didn't hear as many shots
Yeah, for sure.
that I usually would.
Anything else you want to add to the conversation? Anything else? Maybe a tip to a new hunter that are just getting into it. Like we haven't really done that. So
Yeah.
Ethan, you want to give a tip to a new hunter that's just getting into it because we just went through a whole 2022, 2023 season. So what would be your biggest advice from this season to someone?
Oh, don't be picky.
Yeah.
Don't, especially if you're starting out. Don't be picky. Honestly, if it's legal, if it's brown, it's down. Just
Mhm.
send it.
Yep.
Honestly, just get that. I mean, I've been doing this since I was 13, and I'm still like that.
Yeah.
And I don't. You know, once you set those high standards on yourself,
Yeah.
then I feel like, unless you are okay with that and you're
Mhm.
in that point in your life, but if you're just starting out and you set those high standards, I feel like that's how you lose it quick, and then you just stop hunting.
Yeah.
Like, we lose you before we actually gained you as a hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Andrew?
I mean, I would say the only thing you really have to do to be successful is put the time in.
Mhm.
So go do that. That's the first step. If you're not doing that, you really gotta evaluate why you're there.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not putting in the time, you're not gonna have as much luck. If you don't have as much luck, you're not gonna want to go out. And that's just a recipe for disaster.
Oh yeah.
So put the time in. If you put in the time and you're still not having luck, maybe reevaluate beyond that. But I mean, if you're doing what you should be doing, time is the only factor that really takes a toll on you. So just put in the time.
Yeah, I agree with both those. I mean, don't be picky. Put the time in that you can afford to put in. Don't lose your job over it. Don't get divorced because of it. You know, all that kind of stuff. Like, put in the amount of time that you can afford to put in. Then don't be picky, because
Right.
I think you're gonna have more joy in your life if you can balance a true passion you have with being with your family. Maybe get your family involved in it. Like that, I think that would be, that best of both worlds there. So my biggest advice would follow these guys' advice, and also just like don't go broke because of it. You don't have to buy the newest thing. You don't have to buy the newest greatest thing. If you can't afford a saddle, don't buy a fucking saddle. If you can't afford the lone wolf gear, don't buy Lone Wolf. There's other brands out there. I'm not just picking on Lone Wolf. I'm just saying, like, just a name that came into my head. There's a lot of other brands out there. If you can't buy the lightest shit out there, buy something that you can carry in. Like, everyone's worried about ounces. Don't worry about ounces. Just carry and afford what you can afford to buy. That's my biggest advice. Don't go broke. Don't try and buy the newest shit out there. You don't need the newest bow. You don't need the newest rifle. You don't need the newest crossbow. You don't need the newest camo. Buy what you can afford and go out and hunt. And maybe make some friends that are also in the hunting industry that make it fun. Make it fun for you.
Yes.
By industry, I
So-
mean community. Yeah. That's it. That's our 2022-2023 season in a wrap.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to keep hunting.
Keep fishing.
And keep your tradition.
And
Go
always-
birds, baby.
Yes, go birds. And always
Damn it.
enjoy the freaking process. We out.